Exile. It's all my fault. It's cold outside, man. Makes my nose run. Okay. Put our Photoshop here. Are you guys all right with the webcam being here and the text being here? It doesn't bug you that it's in the way of the UI there? Perfect? Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna have this window up here. This is gonna help me loads. So up first we've got Shokri. Oh man, I'm feeling it. If I can keep this energy the whole stream, I'm excited to look at your guys' stuff. So this scene's pretty detailed, and that's a whole lot of cables. Just for presentation reasons, I would suggest removing these guys. Where are we at here? Oh, we're smearing. I don't want to smear. There we go. So these guys, I'd watch out for these guys. These are just your parent lines. That's what they're called. Anyways, they can kind of screw with the composition when you're trying to just look at like what's going on. If you're using machine tools, you can just hit tab, and then to the left there, you can click overlays, and it'll get rid of all those lines. It'll get rid of your 3D cursor, pivot points, all that stuff. Muck, what's up, man? How you doing? Droppy. Yo. Doc, hi. You sure that's not outside, Coda? So, you've got a concept as well that you're going off of, the old fort wall. I mean, yeah. Oh, you got a camera angle to match as well. Okay, let's bring that in here. All right, so we got this camera angle concept. Let's bring this in as well. So concepts are weird, right? Because a lot of the times they don't really match perspective correctly, unless the concept artist is using like a 3D package to get the initial block out in. But with that in mind, I would try to get the camera angle to match as close as possible. But in the concept, you'll notice that where are we at here? Hey, thank you. You'll notice in the concept that everything is kind of doing this, right? And then you have this space here. So all of this stuff on the side, this is just background. This is, well, background, I should say foreground detail. Everything should be pointing towards this doorway. So keep that in mind. We hide that real quick. A lot of cloth and stuff in here, and I would suggest if you're pushing for that look, and I see it in your other image, right? You're starting to get some of the. Oh no, not yet. Okay. Yeah, figuring out where those wires are at is going to be really important, because when you look at the concept, these are all connecting. Oh man, how am I gonna? Can I just? Oh, did that work? No, I didn't think so. I was like, can I just clear the... Okay, so you'll see that these are all kind of hanging, but it's not really explained how they're hanging. So keep that keep that in the back of your head, figuring out. It looks like maybe there's a single wire. So these could be rotating in a weird way where they're kind of... So watch out for that. But your colors, I think it would benefit you a lot already to start. I mean, I know you're using random colors, but think about the colors that are represented in the concept and use those as like your guide for blocking out the materials. What's up, Ross? How you doing? So you've got a lot of warm elements around the outside, and then it becomes quite cold in the materials or the colors of the materials as you go towards the doorway. If you can block those things out and get like your values and your saturation in line with, and your hues in line with the concept early, it's going to help you perceive and understand the space faster, which will allow you to go further quicker. The less questions you subconsciously are answering, the faster I think you will just move forward. Yeah. It's looking good, though. I mean, you got a lot of details in there. I would be really careful about the lack of reuse. And right now, everything is very on the grid. Nancy, what's up? How you doing? Everything's right now is quite on the grid, or is maybe not on the grid, but very simple in its rotations. So don't be scared to, when you start rotating things around in Unreal, to just kind of go nuts. Everything's on the 90. Yes. Scott, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Forgot to unhide it. Oh, the the wires. I mean, it's looking pretty cool though. The flags, right? Yeah, just make sure that you map all this out, and it's a great opportunity for shader work. Let's see. We get to the next one here. Robert. Oh, this looks cool. Hang on here. Okay. This is Robert's piece. It's very you might be over sharpening it just off the first glance. So this is the first shot of a very large environment I'm currently working on. The setting is an influence changes a forest. The influence is represented by the classic elements like the pillars and the opera. Would love to get some feedback on composition, lighting, colors, and whatever jumps in your face. That's amazing. Art style is strongly influenced by classicism. I mean, I'm getting a sense of the classicism, but the side over here is quite saturated, which I think it's fine because you're changing it up a little bit. So over here is making me focus on it quite a bit. It is, this pillar feels strange in the way it fractured. It makes me think that there was stuff that was happening on the inside of it before the fracture. So maybe simplifying that a little bit more would support what's happening here. Man, you're really flattening that FOV, aren't you? Like there's not much perspective going on here. Looks cool though. Things that I really like so far is these little highlights you have on the foliage. The stuff here, really nice. The fence is blending in pretty well. It's not really sticking out all that much. The spacing between them grabs my attention. Maybe if they were more connected, that would help a little bit. There's some textile density issues going on with the rooftops, and these top edges are very, very straight. I would look in your references to see if there's any way to break those edges up a little bit more. Let's check out that tangent you're talking about. Top left, huh? Cole? I'm talking about this bad boy here. I actually don't know what that is. Or are you talking about this? This stuff up here. Yeah, because you kind of just... Yeah, that helps a lot. What's a tangent? So, tangents are... they're kind of weird to explain, but... so, here's a simpler tangent to kind of call out. So it's not here, but you can see where this roof lines up and it goes across like this. If you had this roof at the same level, your brain is like, wait, are those two buildings? Are they like, it's basically where lines kind of start to collide, and they collide in ways like I don't actually know what this is, and it ends right here. So there's no way for my mind to understand, like, was that supposed to continue? What is this? Is this a wall here? I'm not sure what that is. And it collides here, but then ends, so that I would consider this spot right there a tangent. Now you've got this tree that's going up into out of the shot, and it's cut in a way that doesn't look like it's intentional. It feels off, and you saw when we removed it, it helped quite a bit, just with the overall composition. Tangents are sneaky, man. Just doing that, even with the poor like paint job, it's much easier for the lines to guide into the scene so that you're looking. See here, so you're looking here, right? But the initial shot here, you're showing a lot of sky. I think everything sneaky smile. You're showing a lot of the sky, like it's half of the scene, right? I mean, the trees are cheating that a little bit, but that's all sky. I think you're gonna need a pretty nice sky setup here. Is that nice guy? Is that did they answer your question? This is also a little bit of a tangent. See how the pillars meet the top edge of this? It's hard to tell if those pillars are actually on top of this or if they're on the back of this wall. Visual dissonance. Right there, man. Exactly. Oh, this is looking nice, though. I'd be really careful with how sharp everything is, but I really like the breakup you have going on in the grass. If there was, so you can see these elements here. You have a little bit of a highlight here. If you had a little bit more of that, let's see if we can. No, not that one. Get a little bit more on those highlights along these edges. That would work wonders to just bringing these elements out. Oops. Mix wet. There you go. Oh, I think it's because I'm not on the same. There we go. What is going on? Flow? I'm very confused. That brush is not behaving how I expect it to. Anyways, getting some highlights on here. Really bring those elements forward a little bit more in space. I think that could be really beneficial because you got a lot of that going on in the grass, and as long as it's not too much, you're gonna be in a good spot. Beta Racer, what's up, man? How you doing? We're trying to go through critiques as quickly as possible. I anticipate we'll lose speed as we go, but it's okay. We'll try. Oh no. Okay, up next we got Cole. Sorry, Cole, I'm going to shrink this down just to kind of get it in here. This is Cole's piece. This looks pretty cool. Working on this for Magic the Gathering challenge prompt in another community. Awesome. Unsure of whether it reads well enough or it needs more background foreground contrast, especially on the left side. It kind of blends in one shape, but it's also not a focal point. The prompt, a camouflaged lith dragon chilling in a forest canopy. I mean, this looks pretty cool to me. I think taking the idea of camouflage and really turning it up. Like I see when I think Magic cards and I see a concept that is described as camouflaged dragon in a forest canopy. It's almost like you could take that. Like, tell me you haven't seen a concept for Magic that look like this. You know, like the dragon's right there. It's right there. That's how I usually feel about Magic cards. I mean, I think it's looking pretty good. The background elements are cooler, right? Whereas the elements that are closer are on the warmer side. I think if I can select, we'll see. No. So let's do this. Let's see how good this selection tool actually is. I think if you were to take those elements in the back and maybe even make them even a little bit lighter. Maybe it's rays. Maybe they're light rays or something. It really help like bring it out, and then those rays can be in the front as well. Keep in mind I'm no concept artist, so but you have rays that are touching on the rest of the scene. Oh man, yep, not a concept artist. And some of the rays that are hitting here, but not happening on the front there. Let's see here, and then toning this down. Having those rays hitting the branch kind of brings everything back together, but the elements in the background are being pushed back enough that you can continue to see the dragon. Everything is very soft. I don't know if like a more of a contrast would help. Let me see here. So it feels like you're not really using all of the range that you could be using, right? Because that's another way to get those elements to really kind of. I think you're wanting to show everything, and a lot of the times getting that to be pushed back is what is actually needed in order to. Oh no. Stuff like this, right? And then bring it back. Let's see. I mean, we don't have the same scale, of course, but should have backed it up, man. Can get close, but it's pretty solid already, and I like how the tail is kind of wrapped around. It's getting those elements to pop out. Maybe bringing a hyper sharpening to certain areas could really make it pop. Let me try one more thing, and then we'll move on to the next piece. Let's say we grab what's here. I'll paste it so it's flattened, and then we can do like if you duplicate this, and then filter, others, high pass. Do a high pass, and you can essentially bring a highlight. See how it's darker there, and then you've got some edge detection going on. You can overlay this, and you can see it makes your piece much sharper. You can see what's going on there. I don't know if that's visible in the stream, but do that, then add a mask, invert the mask, and then paint that in just in key areas, and it'll make those details pop just a little bit more. Maybe here as well, yeah. And then those elements really get, they get crunchy, which pulls your eye in. Anyways, yes, super cool, man. You can see too, like if we zoom in here and I turn this on and off, you can see those areas are sharper, but you don't want that sharpness throughout, right? So avoid painting that everywhere, and you can see in the mask where I put it. It's more in the areas that you want the eye to like be drawn to. All right, what do we got next here? CGDJ, what? Just dropping those beats. All right, let's check this one out. So no text with this one, so we can only feedback on what we're seeing. Just gonna scale it in. Don't worry about that little dark edge there. Actually, maybe we can just make this background black. Very nice. Okay, so right now you've got lighting wise, you've got cold lighting coming from the stairwell coming down, right? It looks like maybe you're trying to get some fog that's coming down the stairs, and then you've got some fog down here as well. So let's just paint some simplified lighting information here. So you've got that color here, and then let's assume you've got this. Man, come on, eye drop. Let's assume you've got this type of color happening throughout here, and it gets a little bit on the warmer side out here. That cold is coming in down here as well. I want to know what the story is to this space, because this is open. There's a candle in there. Is this like a lovely dinner? What's happening here? Juice, what's up, man? How you doing? Was it Nugrion? How you doing? What's up? So I'm not sure what the narrative is in here. Dude, Mara, what's up? How you doing? Your dog is like crazy cute. It's crazy. It's all the crazies. So I can't really. I recognize that this is open, right? You can see there's a crack here, and there's go down like this, and then goes up, and there's more opening, and there's a candle in there. I think having the candle, I don't know what the candle is implying. Secret hideout base in a wine cellar. Hello 2.0. Hey Foozle. So it's a hideout, huh? I think having the candle not visible might push it a little bit further. Let's see here. It's gonna hand it out like it never happened, and then we'll go in. I'll just do this really fast, and this is just really quick, right? I'm not trying to make this perfect or anything. As I sit here getting every single shard correct. Did I just lose it? You son of a... pushing that candle back and really trying to emphasize that there's a depth in there is really important, right? So maybe it needs to be more, let's see, let's go midtones. Be highlights. No, midtones. That's still not doing it. Hang on here. Just gonna select that. Actually, no. Get rid of that layer. Just mask this. Nice. Let's see if we can't. Getting some light back there. And then also darkening it. Oh. It's, you want to know that that space is back there, and before you couldn't see it, right? So that helps a little bit. I know having a candle is trying to draw you towards it, but the lighting was so even with the front panel here that you just don't see it. So if there's anything you can do to push that back, maybe there's light coming in from there, right? But then this one, let's just dupe it, and maybe it'll just go a little bit further. You want those gradients, because those gradients are going to help you separate the elements, the contrast between these two spaces. Now, of course, it's photoshopped, right? So you're not seeing the edge there, and so it looks flatter. But yeah, you're not catching onto that. There's I'm trying to think if there's other elements that are. The ceiling is really bright. You kind of want to focus on the ground. Let's see if we can't. So doing something like this. I'm not even sure if you need that info there. Let's just push it back now. You want it really subtle, right? You want to be focusing on this area. There's 2 lanterns here. I think maybe having one and just more elements to tell the story. I think if the opening was, I'm just going to doodle on top of this really fast. If the opening was higher, right? Instead of down here, if it was more like a space like this, and then it was pretty clean cut here, and then they have like a ladder, right? Then it becomes a much more like, oh, what's happening there? But I guess maybe I don't have the concept with me. But I think you get the idea. Don't be too shy about the saturation of this. That could be maybe pushed a little bit further. Desaturate, saturate. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it. Just more blue. So it'll draw your eye in over there. And just think about any elements that you can add to draw your attention to this, because this is the focal point, right? It's not the front table and the guy that's organizing the whole situation. It's that entryway, that secret place. I mean, I would even take this piece that's been removed and actually make it like a thing that they remove. So where is that piece at? Is it on the ground somewhere? Where is the, those things need to happen. See if I can push this bottom area more. Shadows, you don't want shadows, maybe highlights. Yeah. Yeah, anyways, it's the brightest point is here, and I think you need a little bit more brightness on this side, and just to kind of draw your eye over here. But hopefully that's helpful. Some dirt to get some variation in your walls. Yeah, variation in the walls would be really good. Some gradients just at the base where dirt builds up, or just gradients on the wall in general. Because like as you go up the wall, the only thing that's really affecting the wall is dust and spiders and stuff, right? But yeah, there's something that's over here when you look at the original image is very what's up here? It's very bright over here, considering you don't need to be looking at that. There's weapons here as well. I guess what you're trying to highlight. I would just put all that stuff back here. Of course, you're gonna want that close to the guy controlling stuff. So, okay. Oh man, Sebastian, buddy, this scene's looking creepy, bro. Just paste this in here. We'll look at each shot individually. I'm gonna turn the brightness up on my screen. Keep it low for most of the day. I have the brightness on my screens when I'm looking at a lot of emails and stuff like that. Okay. So this is looking great, man. The lights look a little bit more appropriate. It's still quite hot here in these spots. But just I'm gonna just highlight everything that sticks out to me. Watch me paint madness now. We'll just do this. So those are very bright. This one's not too bad. And I think as they get further away, they're a little bit more acceptable. Those ones are really hitting though. They're super bright. The outside, there's something going on out there. And now I'm recognizing it as those are not elements that are outside. That's the edge of the glass. I would see if you can find ways to make that actually feel like the glass. See if I can do a combination of things, like just changes in the value or the saturation. And then going to maybe like, just make sure I'm controlling this right. Getting that kind of gunky stuff in the corners. Oh. Right? Just that little buildup of junk. Just to remind me that that's glass. It's going to go a long way versus like, it looked like elements that may have been out there. Maybe some cracks too. Crimson, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, cracks could do it. It is very far and it's so small in the composition. Right? But you can see without it, I was mistaking the glass for something else. I mean, it could easily be just a highlight as well. Just across the entire surface. If I go here, let's just delete those. This is something like that, right? Where you at here? Screen. So if it was something like that, and then you have a clear cutaway of like where it's not, right? All of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that is glass. You can also see there's not much going on as far as like stuff in the air. You got a little bit of a glow here. Kind of feels like the air is empty. It doesn't really have the atmosphere you're expecting. Let's see if we can't get rid of this stuff and just kind of sample some colors. That's really big. And like that maybe. And then these hits. This looks crazy, I know. But really getting that kind of glow, right? Your ground also is not very, like I want to say just turning it up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so not the saturation. Shadows? No. We want those midtones or highlights. Let's see what these highlights look like. So get those highlights. Oop, that's too much. Getting those highlights on the wall a little bit. And really helping that the ground stand out a little bit is gonna go a long way. And your scene's still very, very dark. So I mean, I know you're going for a dark scene, but there's enough light going in here. Like there's this side here, this area. This area should have some information in it. Same here. It's looking cool though, man. So we go down here, just remove these. There's a little bit more atmosphere in this shot, and you're seeing a lot of surface information here. That's just really cool. Oh, was it No Juice? Thanks for the tier 1, man. Yeah, the days or the evening is going well. It's 9 o'clock. We're not running out of anything to critique right now. That's for sure. But you can see it's very dark. You can see your range. You're missing a lot of information here. And I recognize that it should be dark, right? Like these lights have a very good exposure. So your bright points are pretty good. Minus like where the highlight is occurring. It's your midtones are just not exposing enough information. So you can see, you just want to be able to see a little bit more. And if it's feeling a little washed out, you can see what turning the saturation up does. But I mean, dude, this is looking cool. This is really interesting too. It's quite creepy. It's a quite creepy space. Lighting again, dude. Lighting is everything, man. And you know how we were talking about edge decals, right? And you can use them on this edge here. So I would use edge decals here, or make your bevel wider on that geometry. But don't forget that you can use edge decals inverted as well. So instead of a convex edge, you can use a concave edge. So you can use that edge to actually blend this edge here. This big one's a decal. That's great, man. Hanlu, what's up? How you doing? Hello. Hello. Good to see you. Arusio. How you doing, man? Hey, Chris. Andre, what's up, man? Okay, so, dude, we're up to 105 people. I hope you guys are having a good evening. It's good old Thursday. Dude, Polygon, give to 10 subs. What are you doing, Paul? How did I miss that? I'm so in the moment. Exile, Existin, BTVR, Xiaosu, Droppy, Groundling. Dude, Groundling is a great name. D-Clan, what's up, dude? Danjan Art, man. Dude, I love it. Harcade 1, and Arusia. Yeah, hey, thank you, Polygon. Don't mind me. I'm here for the critiques. Wait, are you in the critiques? Or are you just here to watch? Super appreciated, dude. Exile, did you get enough there? Is that enough information for you? Yeah, all good? Dope. Oh man, Owen Bramwell, dude. I remember when you were working on this scene. So I'm going to link this in chat so people can appreciate all of the work that was put into this post. Let's dang, that table looks pretty cool. Let's post that here. Let's zoom in on here. So this table looks pretty awesome. Things that are sticking out to me is, I think the number one thing is the complexity of your roughness materials. They're very simple. Juice, I don't know if we're going to be able to get you in on this one. There's already a handful I'm going through. Post it in the Discord stream critiques channel anyways, and let's see if we get to it. But you can see there's not much complexity in the gradient of this highlight, right? It's just a highlight with some fall off. Same with the surface here. So I don't really know what type of material it is when you look at the... Oh, you want to prep for the next one? The next one will probably be in 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. Maybe sooner, we'll see. If I'm having a hard time wanting to do my own art for the evening, I'll just jump in and we'll do a Discord critique. You'll see it announced in the Discord, though. And any Discords that you want to go back and watch, Discord critiques, they're on the Patreon page. Vent by blasting other people's work, I get it. By blasting, you mean acknowledging their existence and how amazing they are, yes. And then pointing out 1 or 2 things that can help them be that much more amazing. But yeah, it's the complexity of your materials. This also feels a little soft, and it might just be because it's blurring. Some other things, I guess, the materials on the books, they're very like single colored for the pages. Watching out for adding subtleties in the complexity of surfaces is everything, right? So if you can find references on books stacked and just look at the color variation in the pages, even if it's per book, not like per page, but you know what I mean. Looking at the values and the saturation and the type of cover it is and where there might be highlights in the roughness. The other thing I just noticed is this feels very, those look like really, really thin. They look like really, really thin baguettes. Like the French would be very upset by this, if I had to guess. And I think it's because the scroll is really thin, right? That you're not seeing the edge to the wrap, if that makes sense, because it's wound pretty tight. So it's more about like making sure that you can understand they're breadsticks, yo. They're just really long breadsticks. Like, get it right, Dynasty. And then you're missing the shadow. Like, I see the shadows here, but the way they're resting on the surface doesn't really feel like they're interacting with the surface, so they're not very grounded, right? You up the texture size in the book from 512 to 1K, like you said. The desk was a massive pain trying to get all the storytelling in was a pain. Dude, storytelling is everything. If you have a library of assets, literally a library like you have here, it's all about like, okay, what's the story? And how do you stack everything on top of itself to just kind of make a story with the elements that you have. Like this book, for example, is very rigid. There should be a bit of a curve there. Maybe a piece of what is it? Are they usually red? Are they red? Like a little thing sticking out here that lets you know what page you're on, or it comes out of the top and then goes down the side here. Or go out of the top here and just kind of do that, something like that. Just thinking about all those little details. There's some information that's missing from here for like the transmission to really feel like that light is illuminated and is diffusing through the glass, the colored glass. Owen, it's just it's just a bunch of things I'm just pointing out. That's all good. But it is definitely the roughness. I think that could be better. Are the books that are in the bookshelves? I'm trying to see. Are they all the bindings of the books? Because some of the books are contrasted enough that you're picking up on like it's becoming a noise instead of like a wall of books, right? Let's see here. In the particles in the air, I need to know the story behind that because like, is there someone lighting a flare up above and it's just like all the embers coming down? These also don't feel like they have a source. Shrink the brush down. Highlight. There we go. See, like the highlight on the side of this pillar is hotter than the glass, right? So getting that look, and then also the kind of glow, especially with the highlight that's hitting there. You want those to just sing a little bit more, I think. Same with here. When they're blurred out, it gets especially I mean, this is quite saturated what we're playing with. The saturation on these light sources is very strange. If you eye drop, let's see here, if I eye drop that color. So I mean, I know this is emissive, but some stuff to keep in mind if we just, how would I do this? Let me screenshot this. For the most part, when you're working in PBR, you're going to want to stay away from see if I can get this right. Nope. You don't want to stay out of those zones. Stay inside of here. Maybe a little bit, maybe this too. You don't want to go too bright. You don't want to go too dark. You don't want to go too saturated. Somewhere in here is the sweet zone. Yeah, but that's only for, I wouldn't say it's for these, but I would also not expect these to be so saturated. Or use temperature, yes. I wouldn't expect these to be so saturated because it's an emissive surface, right? The sweet zone. Scene looks pretty cool though, man. It's really about toning back on the noise that the books are causing. And I think that's actually really easily fixable. It's just making sure that the contrast between all of these elements, like, let me see if I can just, if the contrast between all those elements was just toned down, it all of a sudden just becomes much easier for the eye to rest on. Like, are these scrolls on the top area or are they other books? Because you could just tone that all back. Juice. The next one on the 4th, I believe, of next month is when I will open it back up. But the backlog is like a few months, just so you know. But do not hesitate to post it in the Discord. That's because there's tons of critiques going on in there. People giving feedback like crazy. Scene looks good though, man. I'm just picking out all the little things all the little things you can focus on to really push the envelope, the quality up, right? So like you see there's an edge there, just wiping that out and then pulling this back a little bit gets that gradient, so all of a sudden it's not a hard edge. It's a space that's becoming darker because it's going away from the lighting. When it's being occluded, there's the ambient occlusion or the natural occlusion of the space is pushing everything away. Photon wise, you're just not seeing it bounce around in there. It's not getting back to your eye. You know what I'm saying? It's not getting back to your eye. Let's go to the next one. All right. Is it Siddharth? Is that how you say it? Siddharth? How you doing, man? So we got this element. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna shrink this down a little bit. And then I'm gonna duplicate it, and then we're gonna bring it up here. That works for me. There's some gradients going on here because there's a gradient in your background. Modeling wise, this looks really sick. I made this because I absolutely love the concept from Filippo. Is it Ubertino from Cyberpunk 2077? This looks really, really nice. Quite high res. Some elements here worth noting. You got these guys, right? These look like they're just like some type of embossing like the text right now, right? And to really make those stick out as actual screws, which I assume those are screws. Hey, no problem, Owen. Hopefully that was helpful. And you don't mind me just cutting in like that. These screws, those embossed things can use anchor point base wears. Yes, so I don't think that's enough. They need to be able to imply that they're screwed in, and right now they're very flat, right? The information that's on the inside here is very, very flat. It's almost, you can argue, is the same depth as this because the way normal maps work is once it flattens out, it's coffee time. Yeah, dude, get that coffee. It's just, it feels flat, right? Even if the screw is lower in space, just getting that depth difference is going to be a really big deal. You are missing some wear and tear that's in the space of on the surfaces. And those screws just, I'm not sure what screw type that is. I don't think that is a screw type. For all I know, though, in the concept, let's see if just open the concept here. Yeah. Okay, so the concept is actually 3D. So you can see in the concept, you see that there's a dip in here. So you get a clear separation of the roughness difference from here to here. Those are two different materials. It's an Apple screw type. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. I think it's hard to know when to model screws. I mean, I think you can get this look with a bake as well, but if the mask is simple enough, you don't get the same effect. So it's really about like getting the depth between here to help you separate the two materials. There's a roughness difference between the two. It's an iPhone 77. Those are going to be the things that push it, right? And the kind of wear that's happening here seems, or this, I don't think this is wear. This is a type of it's like galvanized. Is it galvanized? metal surface wear. I think this happens in the normal map. So these are literally showing a different steel. Yes, it's like a normal direction shift instead of actually in the roughness. Those feel a little strong, so they're really pulling you away from what the material actually is. Other than that, I think your bevels here are very, very tight. And if these were softer, this would feel much more organic. But because of the tightness of the bevels, it feels much more like geometry. You can see you get some pinching here too. I think you missed a bevel here in order to maintain that kind of smooth, the smooth curves that you see in the overall image here. You should get this type of curve information. A little sharp up here too. Let me look at see in the reference, you're going away from the reference enough that you're having to make up certain elements. And when you do that, you have a chance to stray away from the design, the original design that was concepted. So be super careful with that. Oh man, there's variations too. You can make your portfolio more pro-like by posting it in our Discord. And on portfolio review days, I can help you out as much as possible. We'll even get in a call. We can chat for a little bit. But yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I should point out here. I mean, a lot of it comes from like, you're seeing elements. This is the number one thing I think I would say about your modeling here, or the piece that you posted, is I can break down what we're looking at in a three-dimensional form, right? So I can see how it was made. If I can see how it's made, it's too simple of a shape, or it doesn't look like it's been designed to the point where it's by design. It feels unnatural. It feels geometric in that sense, right? Because there's certain elements in here, like how low this is. If there was no bake on this, these would be hard edges. Oops. These would be hard edges here. And that would be more than enough for me to say that this is a block out for what will be in the game I'm working on later, right? And it just has a nice material on it and a bevel in the north. So pushing it further than that is going to be really, really key. Tillman, what's this? What's going on here? What's this? We're gonna need to we need some canvas adjustments here. So this imperfection, this line here, that's reality, man. The floor is the actual topic. Are you serious? So this looks pretty nice. Materials feel pretty good. This pot, though, I don't know who made this pot. Can you imagine, like, shaping it? It's like someone came by while it was drying to get ready for the kiln and just like, oh, Tillman will never know, and like messed with the edge of it. And then you baked it and later it came out and you're like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm happy with it. It's rustic, dude. Dude, rustic doesn't mean that it was poorly made. Come on, man. Marcelo. No, it's just a little wobbly, dude. That's all. It looks like what happens when you're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna use the same material I did for the ground outside, and then you swapped all the maps out, but you forgot to turn the tessellation off, and so the height map is just slightly, you know. So just I'm not trying to bomb on your stuff or anything. Just smooth it out. Just smooth that stuff out. See, I can't even. It won't let me fix it. Are you seeing this? Should I sit here and fix this for the rest of the stream? I think we're getting there. I'm blaming Megascans. Fix a physically accurate scan. I mean, bot still is still being fixed. So overall, everything that's going on here looks really nice. Lighting is looking really good. Gradients look good. This little crevice here, this is where the spiders hide, man. Ugh. The ground looks all right. Little wobbly, but I mean that's probably a scan as well. Foliage looks pretty good. Feels like it has enough geometry, almost. It's just a little. Yeah, a little bit more. Substance pure. You ever did the Perlin warp? That sounds accurate. Is this artifacting here? Is this from the render? What is this rendered in? Tell me. Would vary in size? So Shark, I don't think it would vary in size, but I think if it was maybe narrower at the back and became wider as it came forward, maybe if the board was stopped halfway and then they added another board and painted over it, then you get like a break in the height or in the gap difference. That would be pretty good. Yeah, it just looks like that just looks like a render artifact from the opacity. That's all. I mean, overall, it looks all right. Like puzzle pieces. The plant's clipping to the wall. Don't no. Shh. Oh, Docky, thank you for grabbing Android's dream and letting him know where to put it. I love that name, by the way. Paint and paste. Oh yeah, sometimes they shove like a paste in between there to close the gap. I don't have much to say on this though, man. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe a little too ArcVizy for me. Composition wise, anything. It's weird how the pot is so centered in the space considering how off center everything is. I find that quite intriguing. But I don't know, tip the pot over, throw some blood on the wall. You know what? Do what Chris would do. Do what Chris Radsby would do. This shot is perfectly fine. That light, however, right here, hang on here. This area here, it needs the shadow of a hanging man. That's what it needs. Damn right, Chris knows. No, it looks cool though, man. I don't know what else to say on it. It's a very simple, clean scene. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Dang, dude. Is this like next gen Fable? Stefan's feeling pretty good, man. Curtains, Sherman. That's a great idea. I mean, when a scene's really simple, Shark, The only thing to do is make it dark. Um, there's all types of dark things that could be happening in this scene, but we don't even need to detail those. I think the bark is a little too dark. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm getting. I may be acting a little bit spicier than normal. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me just see if it just need a little bit of definition on these trees because you're not seeing much of them. They're a little low as well. They get a little wobbly. You can see a little bit of clipping here also. There's no text to support the image, but I would say if I came up to this Excel, come on, man. If I came up to this while I was playing a game, I mean, you could call this image Crossroads. This is called the Crossroads. I mean, you go left, you die. You go right, you still die, but it's probably like dysentery or something. Looks pretty unified though. I like it. And I like how there's like the Crossroads is met with like an interesting like centerpiece, right? You have this detail here. You've got this main tree. Yeah, the moss looks pretty cool. It's interesting because when you zoom in, you start to get more questions. Like what is this? Are these like a? I must be tired. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, the color palette is very nice. There's a nice control of like you've got all these warm kind of fall colors above, and then you've still got plants and the foliage down below having more green yellow colors. It's really interesting. And it's quite bright on the ground, but it's not too bright. Let me see. It is quite bright. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, so you don't want to make it too much lower. No? We can't tune that at all. I don't feels cool though. You're not really getting any of the skylight in here. There's not really much blue going on. What is it? If we can just pop this up here. Filter. What was it, Chris? What was it? It was image auto tone. Right? Push those reds down. Push those. Ooh. Ooh, it's interesting. Turn those blues up. Man, there's a lot going on in this scene. It's cool. So there is the possibility of taking the side and no, this isn't working at all. Because I like the overall tone of everything. I don't really want to mess with it all that much. But maybe as things go further in distance, they get a little bit of a color shift. Yeah, it needs to be like a cyan blue. Yeah. You are getting the blue through the sky. It's not really penetrating the space. Either way, very cool scene. I don't have too much to say on it other than like making sure that the I mean, honestly, I want to see this in motion. I need to see what it looks like with things moving around. Bluish fog color. I don't maybe. But did you see when I did the auto tones on it? It did bring in some cooler values into it while it's still autumn. So it's not so overdone with those warm values. I actually prefer this a little bit more, even though it's been auto done. Talon, you all right, man? Oh, you're next. That's why. This is pretty cool, though, Stefan. I think trying to bring some of the cooler elements into the scene while still balancing that fall feel is going to be important. And I would love to see this in motion. Want to see all the elements moving around. All right, Talon. So you're a game art student, just looking for some overall feedback on the texturing and lighting and anything you have to say on this. I know it's still got a ways to go. I'm hitting a skill barrier, so some tips for critiques. I'm no critique god. Just critiquing. Let's see here. Okay, so we got this in here. Is there a reference to this piece? Polygon, thanks for the subs, man. Thanks for the gifted subs, dude. I will see you later. It does look like an alien scanner. That is an alien isolation motion tracker. A prop I recently created for a university project I am working on. Based on the alien isolation motion tracker, I attempted to recreate this as closely to the game model as possible, collecting references from the game to aid my progress. I feel I did a fairly good job with this recreating a lot of the assets, decals, and details with scratch based off in-game references. So the only thing that is probably holding you back is you're only looking at the in-game asset, right? So you're relying on the elements that you're seeing in the game, which I think limits you to only what they decided to do, right? Whether it be for limitations or any reason. If you could get the actual images of the scanner from the movie, that would be huge. Stefan, that's great to hear, dude. That's awesome. Let's see here. So this element here, this like ring lock hook thing, I forget what they're called, but that feels pretty good. The variety of detail here is also nice, and the detail that you've got going on with these is really good. These look nice, and you're seeing the little reflection in here. I'm imagining this is in Marmoset. No, yeah, Marmoset tool bag. Very good. The screen has a noise to it that feels a little strange to me. I don't know if that's in the albedo or what. Carabiner. Ah, thank you. Needs a bloodied human hand attached to it. Yes, Chris. Yes. When we look at some of the way that it's modeled, it's very blocky. And I guess, let me see if I can just grab some reference of this really fast. That is a bright screen, let me tell you. Alien, I need to say aliens motion tracker. There we go. Man, it is hard to find reference on that, isn't it? Either way, there are elements in here. You didn't mean to double post? What happened? Oh no, you're all right, man. Don't worry. So let's get to this image. So if we look here, there's a lot of roughness information that's happening on this surface that's very like abstract, if that makes sense. I honestly think the modeling is fine. Just looking at other references and stuff. I love Alien. The franchise Aliens. Oh man, love it. I think the modeling is fine, and overall the texturing is all right. There's some roughness information that's happening on the screen here that is a little throwing me off a little bit. I think maybe if one of these dials had some roughness variation by having blood, where like you had the fingers that were bloody, like twisting the dial. The static I would remove. And I think just doing a full roughness pass where the roughness makes a little bit more sense, and you're thinking about where stuff builds up, would go a long way. Because right now it seems like your roughness is more arbitrary. You have like an overall roughness value for every material, and then you have what happens to that material over the time of usage. And being able to move the roughness around on that surface could be anything from like blood splatters or blood markings on the dials to storytell, like Chris is saying. Big fan of storytelling on props. The text and all that decal work looks fine. It's really, I think it's the roughness. The roughness is what's hurting it the most. If you could redo a roughness pass on it and get like I want some story on this, man. I want to see the blood and sweat and tears of people trying to survive the alien invasion. This is really nice. This kind of damage to these decals. This little switch seems like it might be a little small. But I can tell you're following the reference really well, and it's that roughness, man. Yeah, you get that roughness tuned in, you'll be good. But make sure to know what these materials are. Like, is this a rubber? Remember, this information and rubber wears down, right? So where your hand is when you're holding something like that, lots of like usage and your hands grabbing that and is going to wear that information down. You could paint a mask to remove the strength of, or like lower the strength of that normal information as you would like, right? So you could paint that normal removal or lessening the normal strength by like half, where the hand is always grabbing it. And then it's just a matter of a little bit of sweat, a little bit of removing that noise, and just getting that feeling. I want to feel like someone struggled while they were holding this thing. Looks cool though, man. I think right now the weakness is your materials. You get an emission map on the screen, but it's rather dull. Might up it a little. I mean, whenever you see these on the screen, they're pretty blown out, aren't they? Like whenever you see them in the movie. Yeah. So it's getting that glow. And you're saying that this is a little big? This guy here? Anyways, I think we've pointed out quite a bit on there. We'll just keep moving here. Mikey, a scene I made to play around in UE4 shaders and making my own foliage. I always seem to have a problem with the lighting, and I'm not sure if I've been looking at it too much. I know that problem. But the composition as well. Would love your feedback on this. What can I make? What can I make this whole per se? Let's going for a cutest magical forest type feeling. Let's see here. It's pretty cute. It is. It's got some cuteness going on. The scale feels a little. I mean, I really like the tree. You got some cool little waterfalls here. The waterfalls feel designed. It does scream cuteness though. Everything is very level, right? So if we just tone this back like this and just kind of look at what we're seeing. We've got flowers here. Oh, whoops, there you go. We've got flowers here, and then the water line is here, and then you got a framing element here, right? Then I'm seeing because of the heights of the waterfalls and the way the terrain is. I'm seeing a tier here, a tier here, and a tier here. Over here, here's another one, here's one, and here's one. So overall, and then this is centered up it's quite centered, right? So compositionally, there's not really, you don't know what you're supposed to be looking at. And I think right now what it is, because of the way it's set up, is actually this waterfall and these flowers. That's what I'm looking at. So knowing what your focal point is going to be like the mainstay of like why you're looking at this image. I think if you were to tone the flowers back, let's go back to this and think about this shot again. If the flowers were a smaller element that were on the ground and scattered a little bit, they would push back a little bit from the overall composition and how much strength they're taking from the shot, right? Because I don't know if you want them to be like right up front. The ground edge where the water comes in, I think it's totally okay to use the grass to kind of mask that. You are losing a lot of the lily pads, so I'd be okay with the flowers kind of being up here and then going down this way, and then these lily pads, they're like these little guys. You can then, I'll just straight up paint this, right? Now you've got more water. Now you're seeing more of the actual what I feel like is the image you're trying to show us. Let's just erase this. We don't need this stuff here. We can tell the story by just painting the water. So pushing the water forward like that. Then you've got your white flowers. So we'll do this a little bit. You've got these purple rose looking things. Those are happening here. And that's cool. And you can see now everything has opened up to this water space, right? And you get where is it at? Get these lily pads in here. You get these lily pads. Now you can actually see them, right? I'm sorry, this is really a dark image because of the colors I'm sampling from. Maybe we can turn this up now and match it. There we go. And I think compositionally, there needs to be, so I like all the little waterfalls, but I feel like having one that is like the main waterfall would be key. So I think if you're grabbing this guy, let's just paste it. We'll do this. We'll put him right there. Just remove some of this. We'll bring that waterfall back in. And we won't worry about that making sense. So you've got why? Did I just switch to eraser again? There we go. So just kind of looking at like what you can do with this space to bring a focal point is going to take you really far. And I'm totally fine with these waterfalls being here. I feel like you probably only need one. It's very strange to me that they're, maybe if you want multiple waterfalls, I'd make it feel like it's one large one that's kind of broken up more, right? Because I think if we grab this image again and we paste it, yeah, it also moves the focus, right? Because we're talking about composition. I mean, I don't even know how to add the lines in here right now, so I'm just going to eyeball them, which is not a good idea. Don't do that. Just do something like that. Now the focus is more here, right? And then you've got stuff happening here. This tree is still quite centered. I would, if I could, I would move the tree somewhere over here. And that tree is the reason that these are all broken up. Oh man, Chris. All right. So Chris would probably do the camera closer to the ground and then show more of the sky, the tree, surrounding the scene with the water to kind of highlight the centerpiece. Then have the roots from the center tree come up from the sides into the water and stuff. The flowers growing up them. Yeah, there's all these like details that you cascading waterfalls are also nicer when they're different heights and the big fall breaking into the small ones. Yes. Yeah, so if these were different heights, that would be huge, right? Oh. Or even thinner as well. So you lower them, you thin them out a little bit. It's interesting. Because yeah, everything is very tiered right now. It's a good answer, Chris. But yeah, I think the focus is here. I mean, while you're at it, you got to get a story in there, right? You got to get a story in there. Nope. Oh, come on. It's a little beach ball. Yeah. How cute. All right. Dom, let's go, man. Let's do this. And for anyone who posted the stream critiques tonight, you're gonna get community tagged because you're sticking your neck out there. You know, it's one of the hardest things you can do is be okay with critiques, especially if they're live and everyone's watching. You know, I totally get it. It's a little nerve wracking. All right, so Dom, scene I've been working on at the moment, a lot of inspiration taken from The Division. Cool. The scene is supposed to be the base operations for a rebellion. Oh man, you're like tapping into my soul right now. This is are you ready? First time working with tilables, awesome. Do tilables make things worlds easier? Just trying to work overall on my skills as an environment artist. Any feedback you have would be hugely appreciated. We're our own worst enemies. Yeah, so true, Black Wolf. Well, hey, no problem. Okay, let's look at this. Just gonna soak it in for a minute. So when you're looking at reference, are you looking at what you saw in the game or are you looking at New York reference? There's actually a really cool YouTube channel. Where is he at? I mean, there's a ton of them now. It's something Ninja Kid. I can't find it. Anyways, there's a ton of videos of New York of just person filming at 4K, walking, getting on the train, just chilling on the train, getting out, going up the steps. Been trying to find a balance between the two. So I would look at the game when it comes to the way that things are being propped, when it comes to the realization of what this pillar is supposed to look like, how the beams on the ceilings are. Even though we're trying to replicate that, it's best if you look at real life reference in order to capture that feeling. And I can tell this chair, this like stool thing here is straight up. That's from actual train stations or train stops in New York. There is I think that's a floating gun. I don't know what that is. But the thing you have to ask yourself, you're saying that this is supposed to be a base of operations for a rebellion, right? So this specific space wouldn't really be a good area to have the base itself unless the stairs lead up to the actual base. This feels like an entryway, right? So maybe they're using the train systems and in the tunnels to traffic resources around the city, right? And so this could be a good drop off point for resources that are moving around the city. So making it feel like there's organization to the chaos of what it is. Maybe this is the actual entrance, right? So maybe this is the entrance of the station. The materials on the wall feel like they're not tiling enough, and you're going to want to make sure you're getting the tiles on the wall correct, the colors correct, what lights are on the ceilings and where those are at as far as like signage goes. This guy, when you look in the spaces, there's all types of things. There's things on the pillars, there's things hanging from the ceiling. There's almost nothing usually scattered on the ground. And it's more about like access points and things to interact with in order to get your ticket to get on the train, all that type of stuff. This edition is good. But again, I don't feel the base of operations vibe here. I don't feel the stockpiling of resources and operations happening here, right? So using these barriers to like imagine a train comes, it always stops at the same spot, and multiple doors, let's say multiple doors on this thing open, on this train open. They're probably going to line these up. They're probably going to line these guys up just to make sure that no matter what door opens, you're always getting out of the same one. Like you can only really get out of one, right? So it's almost like a horizontal elevator. So think about where they're going to be blockading or blocking stuff, where resources are going to pile up, where security is going to be standing, where they're going to be sitting. Do they have boards up that they're tracking stuff? They have like intercoms, mics. What is their form of communication? Where's their power coming from? Have they got these lights installed themselves? Like all that storytelling is what you have to think about when you're building on top of something that used to be. But when it comes to the modeling of this stuff and the materials, like I was saying, the tiling those more, thinking about signage more, thinking about like warning signs, all of the old stuff that in the franchise is about like, okay, watch out for people that are sick, cover your mouth when you cough, all the stuff we think about today in real life. All that needs to be there. Where's all the wires? Right now I see this one. I want tons of wires. Some of the lights not working, which I think we're getting a little bit of that. And a little bit more semblance of understanding of what these props are. Man, you're definitely looking at Division stuff. I'm recognizing some of these props. These are pretty hardcore into the ground, so you would probably never see that out like that. I'll go with this prop, and then we'll move on to the next stuff. We've got a little bit of time left. This prop right now is very simple in modeling, and then also you need to watch out for how thin these details get. So look at reference, see how this is actually created in real life. See how these metal elements are connected to the meshes, to the other materials. Like say this back piece is wood, right? And then you've got these metal struts here. How are those connected to it? Probably in the back. Most likely in the back because you need to be able to sit on this, right? So in the back, how are they connected? Are there screws that go through? Do the screws come through? Like these bolts, right? How is this grounded in the floor? Is there like a bracket brace thing that like connects it to the ground? Or is it actually like cemented into the ground? If it's cemented into the ground, you can think about placing decals that show like a different color to the concrete. So you can see that, okay, there was concrete poured here, and then they used a spatula and like smoothed it out afterwards. And in that case, it'd probably be a little bit on the edges there, right? So those are the details to really pay attention to when you're looking at making these real life assets in your 3D scene. So look at the shapes, look at the construction type, look at the wear, the tear, look at the roughness, look at the materials. Understand how it's integrated in the scene, and you will have an asset that looks very, very close to something real. And the closer you can get that roughness and the albedos in, the closer you start to blur the realism in 3D. Some graffiti would be nice, yeah. Oh, my voice is starting to not be happy with me. All right, we got another one. New York inspired crime scene. Dude, more New York. I like this. I like this. All right, New York crime scene. Still chipping away at some stuff, but it'd be nice to get some feedback on anything that is overly jarring or stands out the most, as well as the composition and lighting. So there's certain elements that you're adding here that are helping with the New York feel. I can tell you probably haven't taken a pass on the garbage bags yet. Those look like they're like in a prototype state or a blockout state. This feels New York. I think having that there helps. I'm not sure. I mean, I know this is police tape, but it doesn't really read as police tape. I know it's tape, but I can't see the text on there well enough to understand what's happening. Or maybe the creases and folds in the normal are a little too strong. Let's take a swig of this dangerous liquid. Yeah, I think the black and white is pretty overpowering. You're right, that'd be really overpowering. There's no way to know that this is a crime scene. Is it broken into? Chris was saying this in his stream, and I will echo it. If you want someone to notice something or clearly be like, this is a crime scene, just go full on. Like, crazy. Like, make it look like someone came up, unloaded a couple rounds, just bullet holes through in the wall, in the wood, in the glass, and then make it look like they freaking kicked that door in and the glass just went nuts, right? You'll know for a fact that's a crime scene. Hanging man in the tree. If you really want to just turn it up to Chris Radsby level. I think that'll do wonders. Honestly, the paint, the bullet holes that I was throwing in there. But when it comes to the composition, let's see what the levels are. What the hell is that? There we go. So I like the ominous feel of it, and it's quite gloomy. Man, that is some saturation. I don't know where that color's coming from. That AC unit is definitely grabbing a lot of attention, and there's some light in the window. I think if you just just hide that for now. Let's just look at the overall. There we go. I don't think you need the AC unit there. Or if you do it, it needs to just be pretty masked out. Like you don't need to notice that there. This sign as well has a light on it that I'm not sure needs to be noticed. This is also very strange still. I'm still feeling that corner piece there. Let's just turn this up. Ugh. Let's just say that's green as well. It can be colored. I'm just watching out for how bright that is. There's no way to know that this is a police vehicle. Is this a police vehicle, or is this the car that showed up for the crime? Right? Knowing what that is, the urgency of it, it could be nice to have this vehicle that's like actually tipped over the garbage can. But yeah, double check the color of the tapes. Make sure everything is a correct New Jersey Parking Authority. Crime vehicle. It is the crime vehicle. Wait, I don't know. Dean. The vehicle that shown up for the crime. All right, cool. Cool. These lights definitely need that blowout effect going on there. Just not enough. Nope. No. Let's you need that atmosphere, right? Because you're seeing it back here. There's a lot of atmosphere going on there. And then this doorway, I think you're doing a pretty good job of making it pop out. Maybe, let's see. I think it's already popping out enough. If you wanted to make it feel, no, I think this is all right. It's just the adjustments that I've been making. You want the focus to be on that doorway. You want to let them know it's a crime scene, the viewer. And then you want to, this color up here needs to go. It's very confusing. And the trash here, I would maybe put here. You want this to all be pretty open, right? But Jay Lee, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Maybe more scraps of tape hanging out the door frame. I mean, they usually tie stuff to the door handle as well, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like this is in the way, and I feel like this, whatever that is, I think those are bags, like grocery paper bags or something. Those could probably go. Those are drawing a ton of attention, and I think you could put the trash on that side anyways. Crime scene, 2 words, police tape. I mean, there's some, but it probably needs to go pretty crazy. I would see how they tape off. I would look up and research how they tape off a crime scene. Because, like, if this is a crime scene, where are the police? Because you said this is not the police van. You need those lights, you know? Anyways. Yeah, Sherman knows. You need those lights. If you can get this animated, I would love to see just the lights that are hitting the building a little bit. But we should continue onward before our time runs out. The crime's inside. That's the other thing is you don't really pick up on that, right? All right, what are we looking at here? Martin, this is yours. So would love to get some overall feedback on it. It's still in early state, but would love to hear your opinion. If something weird stands out and should redo it, something change something, I would really appreciate it. All right. So some of the scale stuff I was mentioning before, if you're in chat, which I believe you are, could you link? Shokri posted a trash bags video as well, by the way, Dean. But Martin, if you're in chat, can you post the reference that you're working from, the concept? Yeah, the chair thing, Exile, that was the stuff I was mentioning before in the Discord. Maybe with video conversation, it'll be a little bit easier to read. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to lose it. I'll be right back. So basically, I have to go to the bathroom. That's all I'm saying. One second. All right. Okay, so boop. So when we look at the concept, dude, there's all types of crazy stuff going on in here. Now I'm taking some time to actually look a little bit closer. So in the concept, it's a problem too, Exile. You see this? The height, hang on. There's not enough room for legs with the chair going up to the desk. So watch out for that. Don't let that happen to you. Don't ever buy a table that doesn't have enough room for your niece. Don't ever do that. Or a table that's, man, everything looks just a little too low. Either way, this scene's really cool. That is a crazy looking table. I really like this window. That's where I think most of your love is going to go. That and this spot right here. Oh, God. Oh, my God, my eyes. Yeah, so a lot of the focal point, there's like the light on the ground. There's the stuff going on here. There's this guy, this window here, and this area here. There's a little hits of stuff around here, but it's all pretty pushed back, right? So we go here. This you're showing the grid on your materials. I would just get rid of that completely because it's messing with your perception of what how much detail is going on there. Even if it's lower contrast, you start to see specific details that aren't there, or like an area can become busier without you realizing it, right? I think you have enough information here, and if we turn the concept on and off, your round table is maybe about 20% too big. It could be shrunk down a little bit. Keep the height. It just like, you can see how thin it is here, right? And then if you look at yours is quite thick by comparison. Look at these elements and then bring the concept up. Those look, yeah, see, I think if you shrink the table down a little bit, it'll all kind of come together scale-wise. But removing the grid pattern or the this checker pattern and just getting the materials in, or not the materials, sorry, the lighting in, you need to get all this stuff kind of solved. Like where it's supposed to be lit, just throw an emissive on there that's roughly the right color of the light coming in. This color. Get the shadow casting right, get all the light casting correctly, and get all of the temperature of the image kind of coming in. Like, what is the most, so Chris says, what is the most interesting thing about it? The window? Probably. Just make it like almost the whole wall or something. What, Chris? Yeah, it's definitely that window and the curtains. Get that going. Exact copies of other people's work. So, I mean, this is a concept, right? And I mean, I wouldn't follow it exactly, but I think it's, I mean, it says it's a concept, but this is clearly 3D. There's a lot of 3D going on in here. So I would capture the feeling of this space. What's up, Andrea? How you doing? I would capture the feeling of the space and then just prop it the way you want to prop it. Like, these details can be similar, right? But I would love to see a breakdown of your bottles, like all your little bottles and stuff that you're... Yeah, and Chris, I totally agree. People will look at this. It's just like my scene. People will look at this, and then they'll want to look at yours, and they'll sit there and they'll compare them, right? This is Chris. Nice. Chris is dropping imagery. Oh yeah, that's interesting. This here. That girl's like, who's that man? He's not supposed to be back there. He's gonna go into my tree house. That's my tree house. Anyways, capture the feeling of this space, but make it your own. You can totally use the same props. Rearrange the room. Where's the focal point? Where's the, compositionally, the table being here works, makes sense. But if I was actually living here, I'd probably put my table under this. I'd probably be back here working, and this would probably be over here somewhere. Yeah, what does this scene look like overgrown? Oh, that's a cool one, Chris. So another suggestion is take this space and make it abandoned, right? So the light's coming through, the glass is there, but you break the glass. You let plants come in. You screw up the curtains. The curtains are still there. The light it's still capturing the same thing, but all the stuff on the inside is just looks like it's been looted and left for years on end. You have any with the stained glass look? I mean, I think after saying what Chris has said, it's really about gathering your own reference and finding what works for you. Oh man, what? There's a window in the very top right bringing in bounce light. Don't miss it. I didn't even see that. What? Hang on. Look at this. What is that? Anyways, I see what you're saying, Chris. I feel like, so sure, you're replicating the space, and you will be compared to the concept, right? But just make the assets, make what you want to make. If you find this fun, go for it. You will be compared, but if you don't care, it's fine. You could be more artistic about it in taking it and making it your own. Putting your own touch on it would be really nice. But if you're still working on executing the quality of your content, that's just an extra layer that you have to process, right? And maybe your last project you were making your own stuff, right? And so this one you just want to like process, work on your workflows, get your materials working. Being able to interpret things is good as well. But definitely look at reference of real locations because it'll help you answer questions that the concept cannot, right? And think about the stuff that you can change in it. But I think you're already looking. This is looking pretty good, and you're just. I would say if you look at the concept, you're probably missing about, I don't know. It's just a little too organized. You probably want to double the amount of these props that are coming in. Not uniquely, but scattering them about, filling the space. I think you'd be in a good spot. We are almost out of time. So I'm gonna look at the next one here. We got a relight of a scene from Nugrion. Mustafa, what's up, man? How you doing? Relights, I don't really know how to critique. I mean, the mood feels good. Feels nice. Moshi. let me see what's going on here. How much? Very nice. How much? Oh my god. Whew, okay. I don't know what to say on this. There's a nice variety of colors and stuff, but I mean, you're doing a relighting, so it becomes very difficult to critique the space. You're not areas aren't getting too dark, which is nice. There's a good bounce happening. It's quite warm, but there's also some cool colors in there. Let me see what happens with the. Sometimes I like to just crank this up, just see what colors are coming through, because it's cooler back there. Here's a ref in case you need it. It was for the night. It was for the night version. Let's see here. I mean, so yeah, if you guys look at that in chat, I'll just bring it down here. It's capturing the feel. I feel like some color grading to try and get the shadows to be a little bit bluer could capture the feeling of the references, but it depends how like close you want to get to it, right? The camera angles are interesting. Dang, there's some cool. Look at this one. You're picking some really cool shots, and the details around the details around these spaces feel really nice. It does feel soft. Let's just do that one trick we were looking at. You do a high pass. Do that, and then we do a overlay. Is that sharp enough for you? See the difference here? It does have a bit of a blurriness to it. Dang, that's sick. But yeah, I don't know how to critique relight scenes. I mean, it looks cool. It looks nice. Dang, look at this one. So wait, hang on. Am I reading this wrong? Hang on here. I am so confused by this post now. So this is your relighting. Feels so soft. Is it missing something? I don't know what it is at the moment. More signs, neons? Let me look around here. I mean, there's a lot of signs and stuff going on, but in certain shots it's not as much as you'd expect, but usually the signage is quite high. I mean, I think it looks good. It's interesting. Exposure feels nice. Oh, that's a nice series. This is RTX as well. Super nice. Isabel, let's look at yours. Let's do 3 more after this one, and then I gotta call it. We're streaming a little late. Well, we're at an hour and 59 minutes. I started a little late. Let's see what so Isabel, let's post yours in here. Glad to catch a stream after your D&D session. Nice, dude. I don't think Juice. I don't think that last scene needed contrast. That would have made it really busy. It was a little blurry though. Maybe sharpening it up a bit. So this looks really nice. The attention to detail is super cool, and the elements in the back, it's really interesting to see that type of formation so far back being the focal point. Where are we at here? For this relight, my goal was to capture and recreate the mood of the colors of the TL. Oh yeah, The Last of Us 2. This is a relight. What's the Western scene? Okay, so you just grabbed the assets from this scene with the project here, and then did a relight of it. Let's bring this scene forward here so we can take a look. I'm just gonna kind of roughly put it here. So this is the scene that you downloaded. All right, and there's all the elements in the back. Oh yeah, look at that nice gradient on the wall. That's cool. Okay, those lanterns look weird. Very weird. All right, I think we have seen enough. So, this is missing that blue again. Let me see if we dupe this. Because the sky is quite blue, right? And you can see the atmosphere. Everything's a bit blue. But this seems unaffected. Like there, blue. It felt like it was a little too warm, just overall, because the sky is so clear, right? You get a lot of that blue in there, and I'm just not. When you compare it to you can see how this one's just very single tone. Oh, maybe I should just do this. Group these. There we go. Yeah, because when you see these types of signage, you really want to see that white text, right? You're not a fan of the focal cat mountain? Is it? What is that? What is that? Is that a speaker out there? Aliens. It's contrast wise. It's just this element is just popping forward so much, right? Let me do one more thing here. Is it me or is it like really foggy over here? I feel like these elements are still very in the shot when you're trying to figure out what to you're like, are you supposed to be looking at this or this? Right? These are so detailed and they're so in the shot that I feel like this is the focal point, and this back here I mean, compositionally, everything is pointing there, but it just doesn't. It's not the same. It's an interesting layout, though. I don't know. I don't know what to say to the because this isn't. Is this a relight or did you reprop? Did you move stuff around? It's interesting though. I don't know. I don't have much I can say on it. Sorry, I'm like repositioning myself here. I used the showcase scene and added some foliage and props in the background. All right, that is you, Isabel. Good to see you. There are some other shots in here. It kind of feels like the camera should be moving through the space with the element in the background being so still because it's so large. Moon Turtle is a dope name, by the way. Yes, that wouldn't be moving all that much, and it's the town that is kind of shifting around in the space, right? I think the framing of the shot is just throwing me off a lot. Like I would like to see a relighting of the entire scene, and I'm seeing it in your ArtStation post. I just want a video of it, because it feels like you can't just do the composition with a single color or with a single shot. My brain said single color because the scene is very like simplified in the colors. That's why when I tune this, it is a little bit more interesting to me. But there's elements I can't Photoshop with, so it's getting kind of weird. A video of the tumbleweed? Yes. A slow pan going left, tumbleweed goes right. Overall, though, I mean, I don't see any errors of the lighting, which is something that can be really difficult. Cinematic. Yeah, use a cinematic camera. Get those ultra wide bar, and the bang bang, you're dead. All right, Tillman, let's check yours out here. I'm sorry, I don't have too much to add on that, Isabel. Hopefully you got something out of it, though. I'd like to hear your opinion on the colors and mood. Which version you like more? What can or rather has to be changed composition-wise? All right, so we're looking at this shot. Those are some big flakes, man. And that snow is deformed. Trees are too small. They do feel kind of small. Like you just scale them up a little bit. Here's the other image. So this one feels more overcast. This one feels like earlier in the day. This is approaching like late afternoon. VR from Finland. So this shot is cool. I think it needs to be wider. Well, let's just do it. And this mountain needs to move, I think. It's just so centered, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I like the brighter one. Maybe flipping it. I think the scale wise is a bit weird for some reason. Usually on mountains it looks scale, you kind of want to be able to show the tree line on the mountain as well. Yeah. Yeah, like those mountains, you kind of expect them to be. And then you want to show the little tiny trees leading going up the side of it. Is that what you mean, Chris? So you get scale. Let's see here. Yeah, because right now you have no sense of scale when you see the. Yeah, you don't see the trees going up the side. I mean, it's pretty snowy, but this mountain's quite extreme in how quickly it goes up. I mean, it's just maybe it's that far away. Maybe it's really far away, Chris. If that's the case, it needs to be more like this, right? Because if it's flatter, it's gonna feel like it's further out. I think, anyways. Anyways, yeah. It should be like the mountain Bilbo had 3 movies to reach. Maybe a sign to tell you where to go. The trees also, it really sticks out to me. The scale of them feels really strange. But compositionally, I mean, I think it's stronger with the mountain not so centered up. And Chris is right in that the tree feels strangely strangely framed. Like where's the center? And it's pushing them further back, pushing the mountains either further back or like really widening it out. Bilbo's like, I can't be that far, right? I see it. It's right there. That's amazing. But I like the lighter version versus this one. I do like there's a bit of storytelling going on here, and I like the tracks in the snow. Maybe getting those tracks in the oh they are in there. What? The tracks in the snow are in the bright one. I just didn't see it. So lonely. All right, Norman. I would love to critique on my latest project stuff like that you would have done differently, things that could be better. Oh yeah, I saw this and I was like, dude, that's pretty cool. So let's get in here. Come on, get down here. So, oh, that is trippy. I will say right off of the bat, the scale feels really strange. This shot here, it's very Lord of the Rings miniature or bigature vibes going on here. Um, and I'm not sure what's causing it. Maybe it's the little tufts of grass everywhere. Kind of feels like those little miniature grass that you would do in like a model. Like this is really noisy as well. Very artsy with the butterfly. See where this goes. That looks nice. This one, so this shot doesn't really have a lighting direction going on. Some Kojima vibes you got going on there. See, that single flower really needs, it's like you need some artistic lighting in here. Not realistic, but like where's that light coming from? But there's light really making that flower pop. I mean, you get it there. Once it got hit with the waterfly, if you want to call it that, the butter waterfly. There's something about the scale here. I feel like the grass is where it's, or the moss, like you're saying. Needs more babies. That's a follow. Looks sick though, man. The overall end result is really nice. Yeah, see, this shot is different from the video, isn't it? No, it isn't. I like this one. Compositionally, it's interesting. Yeah, playing with those lighting directions is really important. All right. I mean, this is really cool. I think the other element that's making this not feel right is I'm only seeing water, rock, and this moss, and it's like those three colors, right? It's very simplified but complex at the same time. Relics, what's up, man? How you doing? More color variation, possibly. I mean, it's very film-esque, right? I don't think you're meant to look at these shots as long as you would usually look at something. All right, Chris. Hey, thanks for the feedback, man. After playing inside, I feel weird. Some larger foliage would be nice. I mean, maybe in the reference of this area, it's not there. It's not present. Let's see. Okay, one more. And then I gotta go. Nugian? Nugian 2? Can I have some critiques on this pick? It's still a work in progress. Wanted to create some after rain scene. Also, what is the weakest thing in the scene? All right, let's go. All right, so there's overall, compositionally, it's framed very strange. It's like you wanna cut the bottom off just to kind of try and frame it a little bit more of like that. It's something's off. It's just the shape of this is very wait a minute. Is it me? Is it me you're looking for? There we go. That's better. I still feel like framing wise, this building right now could be more here, like the top of the. It's like you want it to be more here. The weakest thing though is your textures. They're super saturated. Super saturated. Like these are overly bright. These are very like neon green. The wood color is very saturated. There's this like I guess it's like a moss or like a mossy type of material that's going on in the wood, but it looks like it's more sprayed on with a mask. And so you're gonna want that to kind of build up and be more tricked by Photoshop. Felt bad, man. You want that to be more logical where the green is building up instead of looking like maybe like a noise mask or something. Paint chipping as well, if that's paint. Looking at poly counts of the edges, this could be much higher just to try and, you know, get the arch going. And yeah, it's very saturated. Like if I go in and, like for example, if we eye drop this, let's see here, this green here, yeah, it just doesn't. I'm just seeing the top right where the eyedropper is at, where this point is. I just kind of scrub around and just see where it kind of bounces around in. But yeah, what I want to do is, like, see if I tone this down. Toning down too much gets really weird, but because some things aren't too saturated. Like the soil looks all right. The grass is super green. Super green. Like Fifth Element, super green. You don't want to watch vampires, Chris? Come on. Yeah, I think you just need to look at PBR values. Maybe mix two materials there. It's just very saturated, and your ambient is black basically. You're not getting any bounce light information. See that green there? Is that like a? That's a weird. What is that? What is my brush doing? It's moss. See that color though? That's super strange. Let me just sample these. Oh, this sign here? I would make the hat just a little bit smaller so you're not getting this tangent on the side. But I think lighting wise and albedo wise, like your colors need to be, think more earthy colors for moss, brown, yellowish, green. Definitely look at reference and bring all of that together. And then when you have these in shadow areas, they're very dark. So you're not really getting the bounce lighting from the lighting scenario. What is this? This material right here is really dark. Is this metal? And then like the geometry is really simple here. You see here. Yeah, it's metal. Okay, so we should get a PBR chart or something. Because a lot of metals are really bright. So if you think it's iron, right? Whoops. What did I do there? There you go. So for example, so you make it metalness, right? And then the not chart. Yes, actually I should grab that. Where are you? Oh, thank you. So if you look here, so non-metallic, metallic. Where are we at? Porosity. Do they got porosity on here? Oh man, that's awesome. So they like albedo colors, color wise, you can see like cobalt, nickel, iron. That's pretty light. Aluminum's really light. Silver's super bright as well. Ranging the field and metallic. It's a thing we can't really do in games right now. That's why. That's why you're like, why is it like that? But yeah, remember the albedo colors and like you can eye drop these, right? And then it's really about making sure that you've got your metallic. But I have to get out of here. It's late. I've been streaming for a while. It's been 2.5 hours. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Good stream. Hey, thank you, Chris. Dropping your knowledge in here as well. If you guys haven't followed yet, Chris Radsby streaming on Tuesdays. That's right. That's right. I'm advertising for you, Chris. Anyways, I will see you guys. What? On Sunday? We're playing Hades. Just remembered I need to update the art. I will see you guys Sunday. And maybe I should